If you're in a vehicle and a cop says step out of the vehicle, you're in the driver's seat, get out the fucking vehicle. Do not argue.
How do we make sure that the civilian is protected before we just automatically believing the cop? But yeah, man, I'm sick and tired of y'all. Y'all make me sick, and I think you guys are a gang. You guys abuse power. And if the officer lies, do you go back and fact check what he says to set me free? Do you look out for the civilian first, or do you automatically protect the officer?
All right, so one-on-one, we automatically gonna go for what the officers say, but we're gonna...
I hate that. I do not like that.
Before this video starts, I just want to let you guys know, on Thursdays, that's when I drop my 20-minute podcast. And on Saturday, Mondays, and Wednesdays, that's when I'll be dropping my regular commentary videos. So, thanks for watching.
Welcome back to the Dave Show 20-minute podcast. Today we have a very special guest. He is a former police officer, and he's gonna be giving us some details, some intricate details that we didn't know about the police officers. I also have some questions I'm gonna ask him, and he's just gonna be able to inform us of what we don't know. So all of this is for educational purposes only. Like I said, we just want to inform you guys. And as you can see, his face is blocked because we don't want him getting any trouble for exposing certain people or exposing certain things that police officers do. I'm not even gonna introduce him because I couldn't think of a fake name. But yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for taking this interview, bro. I know you're putting a lot at risk to show the public certain things. I appreciate that. My first question is, as you know, police officers has been getting a lot of backlashes lately, and for however long I've been knowing police officers exist, for their bad conduct, their bad behaviors on the job. And often people question the force. They question if they're being trained right to be able to take care of the public and the community. I think people question the training, and is the training you guys do actually help? Is it helping the civilians?
So I won't speak for all police departments, but I know the one I was formerly at, that one, the training is pretty well put together. I know other police departments have great training as well in certain aspects, but I won't speak for all police departments. I'm not sure how all of them go, but I know the majority of the big cities have good training.
How long does it take to be a police officer?
So first you gotta, obviously, you put in your papers, they gotta hire you, and then they do a little background check, and then you gotta do all these certain things, and then you gotta do the physicals, you gotta do certain tests, and then they gotta come back, and then you got the chief's interview and stuff like that, or whoever is a hierarchy that wants to interview you, and then they still put you through that. You get through that, you gotta do another physical again, most likely, or something like that, and then you get accepted into the academy, and then you take it from there in the academy. And then after academy, most places have field training, and then after field training, you're a police officer. So it takes about 18 months for you to become an official police officer, but probably about longer.
So, as you know, for being in the police force, you know, black people have a bad relationship when it comes to police officers abusing the laws. They're not properly subduing a certain situation. Rather than doing that, they just escalate it. Have you ever seen any situations where an officer was abusing his power and authorities?
Yeah, man, some officers just go off of like emotional. Like, the more you get emotional, the more you get like attached to the job and certain things. If you act out emotions, but I mean, let's just continue. Like, if you act out emotions, then obviously you'll get all ramped up and stuff like that. But if you're like a mellow person, then policing is for you. I would say, like, the more mellow the person, the more they fit this career path. As you can tell from, like, in my experience, the older officers are the best ones you're gonna get. Because they're like more experienced, they have kids, they know how to deal with things. They treat policing like, you know, dealing with kids in a certain aspect, you know what I mean? Now, like, if you get the younger, more amped ones, now they will be more escalated and try to like iron power, stuff like that. But like I said, it all depends on the person. You'll see people like, in my opinion, I don't know why they're here. It's probably because what the hierarchy may see, like, they do their job well, but on the streets they're like annoying the fuck out of people. And the way you should police, in my opinion, is you should treat it like, does it fit? For most crimes, we determine like what can happen. Like, is it jail? Is it a ticket? Is it like a felony order in, or is it misdemeanor order in? Like, what fits in this situation? What is best for this person as well? What did they learn their lesson? Stuff like that. If someone steals, they did it for their family or something like that, somebody can take them to jail, depending on how much, or write them a ticket. Or, there's different things to take. It all depends on the police officer. Now, I'm not going to, bash because there's great cops, but I'm just saying there's cops who shouldn't be out there as well. Like, there's some who are annoying the public, trying to actually, quote-unquote, solve problems, but they're just making more problems and causing more distrust. So I'll just leave it at that.
Can you elaborate on when a cop escalated a situation as opposed to subduing it?
Yeah, there'll be, on interviews when they get too emotional. I'll say, if you're on, let's say on a battery. I won't bring up personal experiences because these people can probably relate, but say you're on a battery and you're getting an interview and they get emotional, all into the battery, and they start to escalate the thing, why aren't you talking, blah, blah, blah. Now it ramps up. Now you got to probably get things either physical because you got that person upset and they start acting out of their nature, or there's certain officers that want to find drugs and they do the most to find drugs because they suspect you, and most of these people are black. Obviously, when it comes to this situation, they want to find drugs, quote unquote.
Do you think, I don't want to dive into a victim mindset because I'm black, obviously, but do you think black people have, I guess, a point, for lack of a better word, to not like the police officers? Do they have a reason to not like the police officers?
I mean, like I say, some police officers are generally your friend, you know what I'm saying? Some actually will tell you certain aspects, certain laws, so they're just trying to look out for you. Now, I'm not going to speak on all police officers because there's a good section that are good, but there's bad apples that's going to fuck it up for everybody. If we just put it like that, that's on every job, everywhere you go. That one bad apple is going to fuck it up, make you all look bad. So I'm not going to bash police force to say it's all bad, but there's some bad apples for sure. Hell yeah, for sure.
So here's my thing with police officers. Now, I never had any gruesome experience or bad experience with police. I've been pulled over and gotten a ticket.
I sure have, and I'm a cop.
Really?
Hell yeah.
You've dealt with bad police officers, and can you explain with that?
That's why I became a cop. Just bad. Pulling us over definitely for being black. I won't go into that experience because people gonna know who I am. But pulling me over and shit, talking about how could I see you? You look all types of dumbass excuses. I've dealt with some dumb shit. People staring me down and follow me to my house. I've dealt with so many stupid ass.
Here's my thing with police officers. Like I said, I've never been mistreated per se, but I know people who have, right? I have friends who they get pulled over because of the car they're driving, or they suspect a certain thing and they search up their whole car. They got them on the side of the highway just searching for something. They end up not finding anything, and they make up something. Oh, your windows are too tinted. That's why we pulled you over. But they search his whole car.
So typically, the easiest thing to do is just to go along with what the officer says. Don't try to backlash or stuff like that. I know people always want to say, I know my rights and such as. It's cool that you know your rights, man. But typically, the reason they pull you over is because they have a reason for it, and they pull you over, and then they investigate more when they pull you over. So no officer can't just pull you over to pull you over. It's illegal, you know what I mean? They can't just go pull you over to pull you over.
But officers can lie and say, they'll pull you over and they'll be like, yeah, you were speeding, and then you point out that you have a dash cam that's recording your speed, and then they'll be like, yeah, well, your windows are tinted. I've seen videos like that multiple times. So my point is, there's been officers that abuse their power.
I've seen it on the force.
Yeah, so
I've seen people who pull people over and start doing the most and taking advantage of certain people who don't know their rights, but you can't stop those bad apples, man, you know what I mean? It's bad apples, so.
My problem with the police officers, I feel like you guys have this gang mentality. For example.
No. I know what you about to say. Hold on now.
You guys do have a gang mentality.
I'm telling you, see, the thing is, the chill officers, man, it's the people who've been through shit in their life are the chill ones. The people who've been through shit are the chill ones. Now, the people, the goody two shoes in them gonna be the motherfuckers who are annoying. Them gonna be the stupid ass cops. They do the utmost because they ain't never been through no shit in their life. If you've been through shit, I guarantee you, any officer who's chill and handles the situation real good, you have a good experience, I bet they went through some shit. I bet they done some shit in their past.
That's not my point, bro. I'm saying the way that you guys have this gang mentality. Okay, for example.
That's what I know. You talking about? That's what I'm talking about. The gang ones who I know what you mean. When you refer to gang, you're talking about trying to.
No, okay. So here's an example. If I get pulled over, I'm on the side of the highway, right? Yeah. And he calls back up. You guys come in, question me for whatever the fuck reason. And if the officer lies, do you go back and fact check what he says to set me free? Do you look out for the civilian first, or do you automatically protect the officer?
All right, so one-on-one, we automatically gonna go for what the officers say, but we're gonna.
I hate that. I do not like that.
No, but I'm saying, but obviously there's gonna be some like to verify. We are, like for me, I like to verify shit first because I'm not gonna get in trouble for nobody else. I like to verify. So, oh, he got warrants. Oh, let me go check that. Let me go check that. You know what I mean? So, or whatever situation, it's good to verify before you do things because if you do again, that's how you get like sued and shit. Like, and most people actually don't know. There's a lot of times you can sue. Like, most people just don't know. Like for certain aspects, but we just leave it at that. Know your rights, man. I'll just say know your rights.
Let me give you a scenario. I get pulled over. You coming in as backup. The officer said he's found weed in my car.
So why did he tell you you got pulled over? And we don't have to tell you why we pulled you over at first.
Really?
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's just courtesy. It's just courtesy.
You guys don't have to tell us why you pulled us over?
I mean, like, if we're investigating like a serious crime, I mean, if it's speeding, I mean, you could tell somebody, yeah, you're speeding, and you don't gotta argue back and forth. Say like you're a suspect of a crime, like a big crime, we'll just probably detain you first and then investigate after that.
Wait, hold on, time out. I didn't know that. Is that like a state thing? Is this state by state?
Every state's different, so I can't speak for every state's laws.
But here's my point, right? An officer comes up to me. I get pulled over. I'm on the side of the highway. He said he finds weed in my car. I tell him I never smoked a day in my life.
It's in your car, man. It's yours.
See, that's what I don't like. That's the gang mentality I'm talking about. If I said I never smoked a day in my life, what validity?
If I found a dead body in your car, you say you never killed nobody a day in your life, I'm supposed to just let you go? Like, you good, bro? I'll see you another day. Like, what the fuck?
Nah, that's different. What my point is, there's cops that be trying to fill quotas to put shit in my car to make me look guilty because I look like I do certain type of things. I look like.
Speak for them bad apples. I'm not gonna say there probably is. I ain't gonna say nothing like that.
But you know it's been done before.
Yeah, I ain't never seen no shit like that.
You never seen shit like that before.
No, if I ever seen some shit like that, we gonna have some words.
No, but no. I'm not saying. Here's what I'm saying. If I said I never smoked a day in my life, and you come in as backup, how do you verify that this weed is mine, or if it's not?
Look here, man. So if you walk in your son room and see some weed, and he say he never smoked a day in his life, you really gonna be like he good? Like, come on, man.
So the idea of
what would a reasonable person think in that situation?
no, that's different.
That's exactly what the officer is gonna go by.
No, why? Because the difference with me and my son is that I didn't.
Example. Let's get a better example.
No, that's a. It's a.
You look that is not.
No, hold on.
Weed is in your car.
All right, the car. Okay, here's my point. Why is the fact that the idea that the officer could potentially put it there not put into a factor? Why is that not a
It's
factor?
just due to the fact that like we're not supposed to lie.
But you guys do all the time.
I don't encounter like I never seen people who lie like that. Yes, there's some people who lie, but obviously you talk to a higher person and then they settle that shit immediately and most likely they get fired. But lying like that is crazy. Like, you know what I mean?
It's been done numerous times.
And how do you know that?
The drugs were there. I did not put the narcotics there.
The former sheriff's deputy was charged with 67 counts of racketeering, fabricating evidence, false imprisonment, and possession of controlled substances. In July 2021, he was sentenced to 12 and a half years in a state prison.
There's videos of it. Cops got convicted of that.
Yeah, as they should.
All right, back to my point.
What?
So because we know it happened, how do we make sure that the civilian is protected before we just automatically believing the cop?
I mean, if you said you had the weed in your car though. That's why I'm just confused. That's why I say we need a better example. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
No, it's not what I said. I said an officer found weed in my car.
yeah, and I asked you,
Quote unquote.
if it was an open space, and you said yeah. So I need a better example. Like, you feel me? Like, you're obviously wrong.
Oh, you're Mr. C? This is the cop shit I'm talking about. You're protecting a fucking imaginary cop. Here's what I'm saying. If the cop, my thing is, we don't know if the weed is mine or not. My thing is, how do we protect the civilian?
It's owner reliability. It's in your car.
I'm not saying the weed is mine. I'm not saying that the weed was found in my car. I'm saying the cop says he found weed in my car. And I said I never smoked a day in my life. There's no way you could find weed in my car. And I'm the only one that drives my car. And you're coming in as a backup. How do you verify that's my weed if I tell you I never smoked a day in my life? why do you automatically just go to the cop?
Because we're not supposed to lie. And on top of that, if he said he found weed, what reason would I not believe to think the officer's lying?
Because you work for me. Why shouldn't you be on my side? Hey, you said you never smoked a day in your life before. How do we go about that situation?
To be honest, and if it's just a little weed, I mean, really, I won't care. But I mean, since we're making this a big deal now, like, some officers think weed is probably the death of them or something like that. But I mean, it's a common drug used against most Americans, so I'll just leave it at that. I won't even touch it. But like, if it was crack or something like that, bro, that's crazy. But regardless, anyways, thing is, it's still in your car. Now, just because we arrest you,
I'm saying.
I'm saying,
found it in my car.
okay, how can we prove it's not right?
That's my point.
That's for court to do, man.
So you automatically detain me and waste my time rather than just investigating? You just go to the cop side?
Found it in your car, and you said, quote for quote, it was in the open when I asked you, right? If it's in the open, that's plain view.
That's what he says. It's his words against mine.
Did you? What you said it was in there? Was the drugs in there?
The cop says he found it. It's not in my car.
All right,
You're missing the point, bro.
You're missing.
No.
Crazy right now, bro.
I sound crazy?
Yeah, you sound crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I sound crazy.
Yeah, because I asked you, is the drugs in the car? You said yes, it's in plain view. Like, it's an open sight. You can see it. Obviously, you're wrong. But now, if you're talking about he plants it in the vehicle, say if this imaginary officer plants it in the vehicle, most likely officers will believe him that he found it in the vehicle. So at that point, we're most likely going to go towards the other officer unless we have reasonable doubt, like in this officer, which then and there is like, that's mad sus, and then that's obviously something to talk about. But most likely we're going to question you. Obviously, we're going to run an interview, and then we're going to take it from there. Most likely, if the district attorney and stuff like that disagrees, it's going to be dropped.
But my thing is, I feel like it's such a waste of time on my end. Because I know they put it there. You never seen...
The proof to sue.
The only proof I have is probably like the dash cam, their body cam.
Yeah, I mean, that's not like, you also got to pay attention to I mean, I don't know. If they put it here, I don't know from that aspect. It's dirty cops, man. Like,
my thing is, bro, I feel like there's no way to protect the civilians against cops. Who's going to police the cops? Because you guys are like a gang. You guys go to, you hate that word, gang.
No, I'm not, I don't know. That's different people. I ain't no damn gang. I'm a regular person, man. I treat things like a regular people do. And the way I see things too, like, people speed, bro, and other cops speed, bro. But there's different limits to speeding, you know what I mean? Like, I personally don't hand out tickets if somebody doing 5 or 10 over, because I've been there, like, you know what I'm saying? But if you're doing like 15, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Or 20, that's wild. But there's certain things. It's not a gang thing. Like, everybody's different in the policing force. Like, you're going to have the chill cops, and then you're going to have the people that do the most, and then you're just going to have the emotional motherfuckers, and then there's, like, different cops. Like, you know what I mean?
I am. So, we're running out of time. But I'm going to leave you with this story that made me ask that question. How do we properly evaluate a situation where civilians say something and when the cops say something? So, I drive trucks. You know I drive trucks.
Yeah.
And I've gotten pulled over. It was like 2 weeks ago. I got pulled over. The cop stopped me, and he hopped in. He's like, do you know how fast he was going? I'm like, yeah, I do. He was like, you're going over the speed limit. I'm like, no, I'm not. My dash cam is right here. We have it. First of all, my truck is not even allowed to go a certain speed because they just don't let us for safety reasons, right? So my truck can only go 65 and the speed limit is 70, right? So I told him that, and he was like, okay, have a good day. So now, if I didn't have that dash cam, who would have believed me?
Shit, that's on the cop and them. Like, that's you're the police department. I don't know.
But my thing is, how do we protect civilians against cops?
Probably cam recorders. That's the only thing I can tell you. Like, there's nothing. I can't help you against a dirty cop. That's like if you go to a hospital and there's a dirty nurse. You know what I'm saying? We doing some foul shit. Like, how the fuck you gonna know? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, like, what? I'm just a cop, man. I ain't Jesus. I can't help you in that situation. So, yeah, man.
All right, so before we go, it's a 20-minute podcast, and I think I'm over the limit. Before we wrap up, I want you to give me, what should civilians do to protect themselves from police officers?
I mean, cam recorders and know your rights. That's the best thing to do, honestly. Cam recorders and know your rights. So you can record the situation, or like your phone, use your phone, and just know your rights. Simple things. And yes, if you're in a fucking vehicle, they can pull you out of a vehicle. Don't say no, because you're going to go to jail. Do not say no. Yes.
For no reason?
If you're in a vehicle and a cop says step out of the vehicle, you're in the driver's seat, Get out the fucking vehicle. Do not argue, okay? Yes, do not argue. And you have to provide your driver's license, okay? You have to provide your driver's license.
But yeah, man, I'm sick and tired of y'all. Y'all make me sick, and I think you guys are a gang. You guys abuse power. You guys be abusing your power, and I don't like that. I feel like until police officers start policing themselves, we'll have a better relationship. Until you guys realize that you work for us, we'll have a better relationship. So with that being said, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Hopefully this blows up, and then we can have a second interview. If you like that video, I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. So like, share, and subscribe, and get me there. Thank you.